Hello, I'm Liz Tran. Welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to be sharing with you part of my process for mixed media self-generated collage. And I'm going to start out with this 10-pack of rice paper. And this will be my collage material. And I'll be painting on that, cutting it up, and mounting it to clayboard. For this piece, I'll be using the Daler Rowney FW inks, the alcohol inks from Ranger, Posca pens, my favorite brush that you can tell I use quite often, the Blick Mega brush, and water. So I'm going to start off by wetting my paper because I really like to see the ways that the different inks and paints bleed. And I'm just letting it soak through layer by layer with these different rice paper sheets. Just like my work is very intuitive and what comes out, I kind of let the materials just do their own thing. If the paint wants to drip, I'll let it drip. If it wants to bleed, I'll let it bleed. I'm always interested in seeing what the materials are capable of and how they interact with one another. I'm going to start by using these FW Daler Rowney inks. Let's start with fluorescent yellow. It's a color that I used to really despise actually, but I love working with this color now. It feels like it massages my eyeballs. And some, let's see, this is the Purple Lake. And purple and yellow are one of my most favorite color combinations. I love how they play off of each other. And next up, dark green. Green is one of my favorite colors. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so I tend to see a lot of green. A lot of gray and a lot of green. It's the green that gets me through, not the gray. And so I'll let this drip and see it's already going down to the layer below. I'm gonna add in some alcohol inks. So it's about creating as much variety in shapes and patterns as I possibly can in order to move the eye around. I've been gravitating towards purples and violets lately. I think because it brings me a sense of calm. And purple represents a lot of different things, including royalty. So this layer looks like it has enough going on, so I'm going to hang it up and let it dry. And as you can see, the layer underneath has absorbed a lot of the paint and ink as well. So I've got 2 sheets to work with so far. On to the next one. So here I'm coming in with my black pen. I really love how this ink bleeds, which you will see in just a few moments. And as you can see, I have my paper here drying. It's a little bit delicate to handle when it's wet, but if you're really careful with it, it doesn't tear, and even if it does, it doesn't matter all that much because I can always piece it back together. And it'll continue to change as it dries. So now I'm going to cut out the papers that I made that are now dry. And I'm cutting the shape of petals. When this series first started, I was actually quite angry at the time. And the shapes that I was using for this collage series were more, they look more like explosions than flowers. And since then, that was years ago, these shapes have morphed into more of a floral shape, which makes sense. I'm an avid gardener and nature lover, and I'm a little more peaceful than I used to be. So I'm just going to cut a few from each of these papers to get an array of different colors and shapes, patterns, papers, shapes, variety, spice of life. But it's nice to have a lot to choose from. So I'll do a bit more than what I actually need. So I'm going to start just laying these out on the clay board to see what I have and to get a rough idea of what will fit on here. So I'm going to use golden fluid medium. I typically use matte, and I will use that to adhere the paper down. I dilute it with a little bit of water, as you can see here. I'm gonna just start by covering the surface since we know a lot of it is going to be covered already. And start laying some of the bigger pieces down. I really love the absorbency in the clay board, and I love the surface. It's really just pristine and really nice to work with. And also, you'll see later when I use my inks on it too, it absorbs quite nicely. And the reason I like to water down by acrylic medium is it will soak through the paper and really just create a great adhesion on whatever surface you're working on. So now I'm going to add some alcohol inks to this. So now I'm going to let this dry and come back in with a few more details. Now I'm going to come back in with my pens, my Posca pens, and fill in some areas that I want to add a little bit to. So as you can see, I've gone in and added some more details, including a little bit of this Liquitex Professional Spray Paint, Cadmium Red Medium Hue 6. And I've applied one layer of Fluid Matte Medium as an isolation coat. And now I'm going to go over the entire painting with satin polymer varnish by Golden with UVLS, and I use this on just about all of my work. It spreads really nicely and evenly. I hope you enjoyed following along in the studio today. Here is the finished piece. Thank you so much for visiting. I hope you enjoyed seeing my process as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you.